Mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today I got some good fun stuff for you here. I got a little burnt out on all Trump all the time, so I thought I would take a minute or two and peruse the internet and find something that was at least only Trump adjacent. And lo and behold, I thought we'd bring back a classic segment called "Even John Grisham Couldn't Write Shit This Crazy." Here we go. Militias kidnapping governors. This seems remarkably on brand for 2020. Let's get some. The FBI says it's thwarted a plot by militia members to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and 6 people are facing federal charges. In a coordinated move, Michigan is pursuing state felony charges against 7 people with ties to a militia called the Wolverine Watchmen. Because, of course, they're called the Wolverine Watchmen. Why wouldn't they be? I mean, you get the best Marvel character, who, okay, he's Canadian. You get the Wolverines from Red Dawn, classic, and you get the Watchmen. So, bravo to whoever's working in the white nationalist militia marketing department. You knocked one out of the park there. In a statement early Thursday, Whitmer said, 2 militia groups were preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me. In a later interview on NPR, Michigan Attorney General said, quote, multiple white supremacy groups and militia groups have been acting in accordance with one another. Color me shocked. Whitmer thanked law enforcement on Thursday afternoon for foiling the alleged conspiracy. Quote, I'll be honest, I never could have imagined anything like this. Well, if you had told me about all this crap in 2015, I'd have probably said the same shit. So, Michigan has been a hotspot for disagreements over shutdowns and other restrictions Whitmer ordered to try to slow the spread of the coronavirus, actions that allegedly sparked the plot against her. The governor noted those disagreements on Thursday and called for unity. Quote, we are not one another's enemy, Whitmer said. The virus is our enemy. Okay, so that happened. Now, I know it's funny from like a movie standpoint or, discussing just how way out there it is. But could you imagine like federal authorities coming to your house and telling you that there is a credible plot to kidnap you or kill you? Just really like think about that for a minute. Like it's one thing to, slog people on the internet. It's another thing to like actually plan to actually kidnap somebody and actually kill them. That's like some next level shit. Now, do you remember in the beginning where I said that I was going to try to find a story that was as least Trumpy as possible just because I'm sick of Trump? And, well, I had to settle for Trump adjacent. Well, here is the Trump adjacent. He never disappoints. Governor Whitmer of Michigan has done a terrible job. She locked down the state for everyone except her husband's boating activities. The federal government provided tremendous help to the people of Michigan. My Justice Department of Federal Law Enforcement today announced that they foiled a dangerous plot against the governor of Michigan. Rather than say thank you, she calls me a white supremacist. While Biden and Democrats refuse to condemn Antifa, anarchists, looters, and mobs that burn down Democratic-run cities, I do not tolerate any extreme violence, defending all Americans, even those who oppose and attack me, is what I will do as your president. Governor Whitmer, open your state, open your schools, and open your churches. That is a lot of crazy to unpack there. Sorry, trying to facilitate a mock of Trump, but with the added sound of having 2 pounds of wet cheesecloth packed into my lungs, it's just not something I can do. It's outside of my wheelhouse. So, apologies. Wow. So Governor Whitmer has the FBI come to her house, tell her there's a credible plot to kidnap and kill her. And this is President Trump's response. Number one, it's not the FBI, it's his Justice Department and his federal law enforcement. Like, dude, this is not a building in New York City that's plated in gold. You don't own that shit, okay? Like, simmer down there. And the constant trope that all these things happen in Democrat-run cities is the constant divisive rhetoric that Trump loves. Us against them, right against wrong, good against evil. This is his thing. I mean, he even said in his autobiography, one of them that, of course somebody else wrote, was that he used to set up conflict in his boardroom amongst his, executives to get the most out of them because he loved that competitive drive. He felt like that's when people did the best. So this is just part and parcel of what Trump does. The fact that he wants to take credit for the fact that the FBI exists and that they did something, even though he's been ranting and raving like a loon about the deep state for like 5 years now, is... good Lord. Okay. So here's where it gets worse. So according to the criminal complaint, Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Ty Garbin, Caleb Franks, Daniel Harris, Brandon Caserta started planning to take Whitmer and others hostage at the Michigan State Capitol in Lansing, Michigan. At a news conference earlier on Thursday, Andrew Burge, the U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Michigan, said that the individuals were arrested on Wednesday. Quote, all of us standing here today want the public to know that federal and state law enforcement are committed to work with them together to make sure violent extremists never succeed with their plans, particularly when they target our duly elected leaders. I don't know why that should make a difference. I would like to think that they would apply the same level of care to planned attacks against somebody who isn't a politician or work for the government, like me. You should really read all the death threats I get. It's tremendous. Michigan Attorney General said that 7 other individuals linked to the militia group Wolverine Watchmen has been charged under Michigan's anti-terrorism law. Quote, our efforts uncovered elaborate plans to endanger the lives of law enforcement officers, government officials, and the broader public. Federal prosecutors said the militia group is already on the FBI's radar because in March 2020, they were, quote, attempting to obtain the addresses of law enforcement officers. At the time, the FBI interviewed a member of the militia group who was concerned about the group's plans to target and kill police officers, and that person agreed to become a confidential source, according to the complaint. Okay, so this is not run-of-the-mill, militia dudes going off and firing 1,400 rounds in the woods on the weekend while they talk about the best prepper bag setup. This was like a legitimate plan. But wait, there's more. 4 of the 6 men were planning to meet on Wednesday to pay for explosives as part of the plot to abduct Whitmer. The FBI arrested all 6 individuals on Wednesday night. The men had planned to kidnap Whitmer from her vacation home and transport her to Wisconsin, where they would set up their own tribunal and try her for treason. They believed that Whitmer had exercised, quote, uncontrolled power in issuing emergency orders related to preventing the spread of coronavirus in Michigan. That's what we're calling treason. Well, not we, right-wing militia wackadoodles, but damn. Woo! The affidavit related to their arrest states that 2 of the men involved first conceived of the idea to take action against Whitmer while meeting with about 13 other individuals from other states in Dublin, Ohio. That gathering reportedly was to discuss the creation of a new, quote, society with a foundation in the U.S. Bill of Rights, where they could be, quote, self-sufficient, which suggests that the group held anti-government views. The group reportedly discussed peaceful and violent methods of achieving their ends, including murdering leaders they viewed as tyrants or possibly taking a governor hostage. Apparently, the yellow flag waving live free or die people have decided that we've gotten to the people need to die part of the show. Before agreeing on any action, the group decided it needed to increase its numbers. Upon returning to Michigan, Fox reached out to a militia group in the state, believing some members might be receptive to his and Croft's views. 4 members from that militia joined him and Croft in formulating their eventual plan. The group originally intended to recruit 200 other men to storm the Capitol building in Lansing, Michigan, to kidnap Whitmer and others, but later shifted its plan to focus on Whitmer alone, whom they planned to try to abduct from her summer home. Snatch and grab, man. Grab the fucking governor. Just grab the bitch, Fox is quoted as saying regarding their plan, according to authorities. The idea had gotten far enough along in the planning stages that the men had already surveilled Whitmer's property on at least 2 occasions, once in August and again in September. A final training exercise was planned to take place in late October, with the actual kidnapping of the governor set to happen sometime before the election. Each of the men involved, if convicted, faces up to a lifetime in prison. So, I'm not a huge fan of a whole lot of government myself. But I don't think kidnapping a politician based on their political ideology and a piece of legislation that they signed into law is a reasonable way to go about this sort of thing. These are the same people who tell you that peaceful protesters should be run over if they're in the streets or pushed into the street if they're on a sidewalk. These are the same people who go to Back the Blue rallies, and yet they're having conversations about getting the addresses of police officers and killing them, and then kidnapping a governor. Now, just to put this whole extreme plan into focus, I want to remind you that these are the same people who will tell you that Black Lives Matter are the worst people in the country because they protest the police and they block streets and they scream and yell about, wanting equality. Oh, it's so painful to have to listen to them drone on about not wanting to be executed. Well, Vexed in the City here would like to remind you that former Governor Rick Snyder poisoned the entire water system in the city of Flint, a overwhelmingly black area. And never once did anybody in Flint get investigated or arrested for trying to kidnap the governor. The man does not lie. Oh, by the way, beware violent extremists. They're out there and they're not wearing Black Lives Matter t-shirts. Stay safe.